What's up everyone, welcome to today's video. Welcome to the Video Game Fight School channel. Thank you very much for tuning in. So I want to briefly talk about the 4K settings and 4K performance for Hogwarts Legacy on the PlayStation, Series X, and on PC. Now, I discussed a little bit about the performance in general, and this is basically talking about the 60 FPS settings, the 30 FPS settings that you're going to be able to get on PC and console, according to what the developers revealed. And by and large, they haven't really done a lot of confirmation surrounding 4K when it comes to console, but they did with PC. I left that out of my conversation yesterday because I just felt, for the most part, a lot of players will be playing at maybe 1080, maybe 1440 now. If you use the Steam, hardware survey and all the details, you'll notice that 1440 is getting a lot more popular. But for the console, I do think that we're probably going to be having a 4K version of the game, because even after their answer regarding the fidelity mode for 30 FPS and the performance mode, they also have a little bit of the VRR conversation here, which I mentioned briefly. And they also have a few different, links to be able to find out how to support, enable 4K resolution on your PlayStation 5. So if you're curious about, if you're going to be able to get that, quality, I think it's actually very possible. They link you to Sony's website on this one. And I think for this one, they probably also link you to the Xbox website to be able to figure out exactly what works. According to some of you here in our community, you've told me that there are a few things that you have to do. You have to get, HDMI 2.1 support. I think your TV or monitor has to support those settings in order for you to be able to enjoy the, refresh rate and some of the different resolution settings. I know Gotham Knights on the Xbox has got a 1440 setting and also has a 120 hertz refresh rate, but it depends on your monitor. And I have a 4K monitor that I use on my Xbox, but for some reason it doesn't support full-blown 4K with Gotham Knights. I guess that monitor probably just doesn't have what it takes. Some TVs, however, will have all of those in their own settings, and they're able to support all of that. So pay very close attention. If you have one of those TVs that can do it, you probably are able to go ahead and enjoy that. Regarding PC, though, this is where the conversation kind of comes full circle, because it seems to me that this game is a little beefy whenever you want to go for the high and max settings. So the developers did talk about the ultra specs. They talked about if you want some ultra at 1440, basically really good settings. I think this is a nice way to enjoy a video game. You have to be rocking a 10700K i7 or a Ryzen 7 5800X. So this, you guys know, those of us who are in the PC, space, we know that the 5800X is actually pretty good. The 5800X 3D is one of the best gaming CPUs that AMD has actually released in the recent future, and we're looking forward to the 7800X 3D. Hopefully that comes out very, I think the announcement actually is set that we're going to have a release date. I just never really did pay, any close attention to it because I'm not really in the market for a CPU right now. 32 gigs of RAM across the board for both, and then we're looking at a 2080 Ti or 6800 XT. 6800 XT is a beast in 1440. That's already established, and it's a very good value. If you're looking to build a PC for gaming exclusively, the 6800 XT is going to get the job done. It's a very solid GPU. I can attest to it. I have one. DirectX 12 is also going to be here, 85 gigs, and they've already told us the setting is going to be 60 FPS, 1440 at Ultra. So this is pretty nice. In regard to the 4K specs, you also will be probably looking at a 10700K, the same CPU, which probably gets the job done on the base level. But now we're seeing 3090 Ti or your 7900X in terms of settings. So these are some beefy CPUs, and with the 3090 Ti, you're looking at power draw. So I'm guessing if you're in the 4080, the 4000 class, or if you're in the 4090, the 7900 XTX class, that's where you're going to be able to achieve these settings, and that's actually pretty cool to find that out now. It also brings me to the conversation that, I've had in the past with a lot of people regarding and surrounding some games, because it seemed like gamers were a little adamant at first about what Sony and Microsoft announced in their game packaging when they sold the consoles. They mentioned, if you look at your PlayStation 5 box, you'll see something that says supports 4K 120 FPS. If you look at your Xbox Series X box, I think PlayStation 5 and Series X, you'll see these same notations. But then there's a fine print on both boxes. I've kept my boxes all this while just to make sure that I can continue to see that, because that's a very huge sleight of hand. And it goes along the lines of something like, for software that supports these resolutions. And it says something along the lines of, and the other one, 4K 120 FPS, exclusive to software that supports, those resolutions as well. So it basically saying, depending on the game, that's basically what Sony and Microsoft were saying, that the game is probably going to run you those frame rates if the game can actually support it. And there are games that can actually support that available on these consoles, but I don't think it's every game. I think for now, our computing and the way the software that develops these video games actually do work are very interesting overall in their interaction. So by and large, if you want to play at these resolutions and performance rates, you would have to be using some of the newer hardware that are capable of getting the job done. It's interesting, though, that Hogwarts Legacy is also pushing the boundaries, because a 3090 Ti, for ultra specs tells us a lot of things in terms of the open world and so on and so forth, as well as the CPU. So I think, in my opinion, that they've been able to do a decent job with the open world, especially when you look at, say, the minimum and recommended specs. These CPUs are actually just decent CPUs, but to see them in the lineup tells me that the developers worked very hard to optimize their open world and optimize their game overall. Hopefully this translates into performance on release and we don't have any issues, but I'm kind of proud of them for being able to include the 6600 i5 Core i5 and the Ryzen 5 1400 in the conversation, and even 4 gigs of VRAM GPUs. My first GPU, I still own it. It's a 4 gig RX 480. I may be doing some test runs with it to see how Hogwarts Legacy plays, but it's freaking awesome in my opinion that this is what we have right now. So I just wanted to go ahead and point this out for those of you who are probably looking into, say, maybe 4K gaming, 1440p. This is where the conversation is regarding the console version as well as the PC version, and we'll continue to take a look at whatever it is reviewers say. So this is pushing me towards the PC version at this point, because I have hardware to go ahead and support this anyways, and so I'm probably going to be taking advantage of that. So I guess my mind is made up at this point, but I may go ahead and get a console version for the Xbox anyways, maybe later down the road, depending on how much I like the game and how much I'm invested in playing it. But I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section. Thanks so much for taking time to watch this technical conversation. I'd love for you guys to provide some technical details yourself, talk about how it is that you're going to be interacting with the game, what your PC specs are. For you guys that are on the console side, it'll be beneficial if you provided some more specifications as to what monitors are capable of supporting 4K to be able to drive the conversation as well and help others. Thanks for watching. We'll talk soon. Peace out.